So it's sort of a vestige of, I think, post-slavery laws.
Up next, one of the hosts of The View, Sunny Hostin, just floated another wild take. Take a listen to her thoughts on why voter ID laws requiring you to show basic identification before you can vote are terrible and evil. It's quite something.
People don't have cars, don't have driver's licenses. So it's sort of a vestige of, I think, post-slavery laws where Black people had to prove their right to vote, and oftentimes they couldn't vote because they couldn't pass some crazy test or they didn't have the appropriate ID. It also affects women that are married. Maybe your passport reflects something that's different on your birth certificate or on your driver's license. So really the bottom line is voter suppression. And I agree with him 100%. It's a brilliant notion that less voter ID laws allows more people to vote. And most democracies do it that way. We're the only ones that really don't do it that way.
Really? Did she really just compare it to post-slavery laws, asking people to show an ID to vote? Guys, this is a policy that is common sense. It's overwhelmingly supported by everyday people, independents, Republicans, and even a majority of Democrats, I believe, support voter ID, just not their progressive media figures and their politicians, but actual people on the street do, because it's common sense. And what is this nonsense about Black people not having IDs or not being able to get IDs? I don't know about y'all, but Black people that I've known have driver's licenses because they're Americans who need to drive. They go to R-rated movies. They buy vape products. They buy alcohol, all sorts of things that need IDs. Flying on planes, you need a form of ID. Like, what universe is she living in? And honestly, if to whatever extent there is an issue with people not being able to access IDs, the solution is not to not have voter ID. It's to help people get IDs. So maybe with your voter ID legislation, you pass laws or policies that also make it easier to access IDs, if you're concerned about that. We still probably should have basic common sense laws that mean you have to prove you are who you say you are to cast a ballot, to vote in our system, our electoral system. Kind of seems like common sense, especially if you are on the left side of the aisle and you disagree, and I disagreed with them in 2020, with the notion that the elections are stolen or rigged. I don't think voter fraud is widespread, and I don't think it only goes in one direction. I think it happens on both sides. But if you want that to go away, or if you want to ameliorate that kind of anti-democratic pushback to elections, making elections seem less secure, even if it had no actual impact, which I'm sure it does have an impact, making it seem less secure by not even requiring an ID has the opposite of that effect. It plays into the hands of the Trump people, the Carrie Lakes of the world, who want to claim every election they lose is rigged when you don't even have basic common sense measures. It's all so absurd. They're so hopelessly out of touch, but people like this remain liberal icons in the media, and somehow a swath of the Democratic Party still thinks they are good representatives of their ideas and their ideology, which is something I truly just don't understand. Up next, even CNN can't keep up anymore with the woke stuff. Take a listen to this clip of Anderson Cooper accidentally misgendering a non-binary at a televised event with Bernie Sanders.
Paul, we're back with Senator Bernie Sanders. I want to introduce Grace Thomas. She's a local civil rights attorney. She's a Democrat. Grace?
They, them pronouns, actually. Thank you.
Oh.
Good evening, Senator Sanders. Polling and turnout data indicate that men of all racial demographics are turning away from the Democratic Party.
Guys, we just witnessed a hate crime. We just witnessed an act of violence on live television perpetrated by an evil, far-right Republican television host, Anderson Cooper of CNN. Look, it just shows to me, even when you have the gay liberal CNN hosts can't keep up with the ever-evolving ideology and the nonsense like non-binary, it just shows to me how far they've lost the plot. And it is funny because this is literally just a female, a biological female, who presents completely like a woman, deciding she's a they, them. She's not a woman. Why? What? Seriously, because, oh, well, I don't like traditionally feminine things. I don't like dresses or pink. Oh, so you're doing sex stereotypes again there, babe. You're doing sexism. It's okay to be androgynous. It's okay to not fit gender stereotypes. I will never be one of those boys don't cry, boys don't play with dolls, girls know your place. Blah, blah, blah. I will never be one of those people. That's not me, okay? But It doesn't, just because you're different in your personality or your interest or your aesthetic, doesn't make you not a woman or not a man. And it's actually a regressive ideology that suggests otherwise, not a progressive one. I don't know how many times I need to explain this before they start to get it. But again, when even CNN can't keep up with you on the liberal fringe, that's a sign. Maybe you don't make any sense. Just a thought. All right, guys, up next, a new TikTok protest tactic just dropped, and it's kind of absurd. Take a listen to this woman explaining how she's calling on everyone to stay home from work to protest Trump or something. Take a listen.
Protesting is great. I was there Saturday. I plan to be at the one next Saturday on the 19th. That's wonderful. But they are not going to care until we're doing that on a work day, until we stop going to work. Okay, we got to strike. I've seen a lot of videos going around today about it. Like, if you haven't already signed up, and I know you haven't because there's only 320,000 people that have signed up, but generalstrikeus.com, generalstrikeus.com. The link is in my bio. Sign up. We need 11 million people. Once 11 million people pledge to do it, and all agree that they will do it, we can do it. So, like, that's the only thing that's going to get to them. That's all they will listen to. Let's do it.
So, does she actually think this is a good idea? Does she actually think getting people to just not go to their jobs is somehow going to, like, own Trump or own Elon Musk? Because they're not going to care, babe. It's not going to be their supporters doing this, all right? And frankly, a lot of the people that would be susceptible to this message, the resistance TikTok types, a lot of them probably don't have jobs in reality, okay? So what are they going to stay home from? The library? The polycule book club or something? Like, come on now. There's this whole genre of TikTok where it's just like giving your followers terrible advice that I really wish would stop. Because when you have any sort of platform or any sort of audience, you should probably not recommend to the people that are making that possible for you things that will actively harm them. If anybody does get caught up in this, the most likely consequence is not Trump deciding to cancel Doge or something like that. It's y'all getting fired. It's y'all getting your wages docked. It's y'all getting in trouble at your jobs. Or, like, how is that a win? How is that a W? It's just not. It's terrible advice and just yet more evidence in the constantly expanding file of things showing that on TikTok, they're not coping well with our current moment. It's a chaotic moment for everyone, myself included, but I'd like to think I'm coping a little bit better than these folks. And you probably are too. All right, guys, that'll be it for today's episode of the Brad vs. Everyone podcast. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Please do consider subscribing if you haven't yet, or hitting that like button before you go. Do comment with your thoughts. I love hearing what you guys have to say. And thank you again to Fume for sponsoring today's video. And we'll talk again real soon.